Welcome to If I Only Had 10 Minutes. I'm Jane Randall, one of the partners at Comms Collective, and I'm thrilled to be here with Corey duBrowa. Corey, can you introduce yourself?
Jane, I certainly can. Hi, I'm Corey duBrowa, and I'm the CEO of Burson. This is going on year 3 as CEO of Burson,
Woo.
and I know, kind of amazing to myself included. And for 15 years before that, I led the communications teams and public affairs teams at Google, at Salesforce, and at Starbucks.
Oh, just slumming it with Salesforce, Google, and Starbucks. Goodness. Wow. How do you see AI transforming the skill sets most valued in communications professionals over the next 5 years or so?
Um, well, look, I mean, first of all, Jane, your question is a little funny to me. Coming back from Davos last week, we were talking about it
Right.
off mic, and most people that I hear talking about AI are talking about, they say long term, air quotes,
Yeah.
and they're kind of talking about the next like 1 to 2 years with an
Right.
emphasis on literally like how can AI help their company in the next quarter or something
Right.
like
Right.
that. And when I think about long term, 5 years starts to feel like the beginning of long term, like the
Right.
beginning of an evolution that could go on for decades and maybe even longer than that.
Right.
Certainly, one of the most profound technology shifts that we've ever seen. When I worked at Google, my then boss, Sundar Pichai, he used to compare AI to the discovery of fire. And he would say that, we learned to harness fire for humanity's benefit, but we also had to overcome its downsides. And,
Right.
the analogy was really super clear.
That is
So
good.
to me, for communicators, AI is creating a whole new world of roles and skill sets.
Right.
We've seen the emergence of chief AI officers. In some organizations, they're AI product managers. So I think we're also seeing the evolution of existing roles to include these
Right.
AI-based skills. So the way we talk about it here at Burson is we call these people a new generation of full-stack communicators, right? They're adept at analysis and strategy, creative execution, consultation, measurement. Like they can kind of do it all. And it's very much like how at Google we used to talk about full-stack engineers, like
Yeah.
less specialization and more generalization. So um, in our latest research at Burson that we published just before
Mhm.
Davos, it's called The Reputation Economy, a New Asset Class for a New Era. And what we did is apply our reputation capital model to an analysis of 60 plus companies that was validated by the University of Oxford's Augmented Intelligence Lab. And it shows that it will become critical for like HR and people teams to understand AI so they can develop AI people strategies,
Right.
right?
Oh,
Not just
interesting.
not just technology strategies, which is where I see a lot of companies,
Yeah.
trying to focus their energy, but really how do you bring your people along? How do you upskill with them? How do you make sure that they're on the journey with you and that the reputational dividends that you get from investing in AI pay off not just in terms of innovation, but pay off in terms of culture and the way that you're essentially trying to round out your
Right.
organization to both include these skills, but not exclude the
Right.
people who are so important in sort of bringing them to life.
What do you think people misunderstand about hiring fractional communications leaders?
I mean, look, Jane, I think there are a couple of things that people misunderstand about fractional comms leaders. I think maybe some view them as just like expensive consultants. They give advice, but they don't own execution. Like that's the fractional share that they have. Or that maybe the
Right.
roles aren't as committed because they're not full time, or that
Right.
because of fractional schedules or roles, they can't fully understand the culture of that organization, or whatever in people's heads, sort of the notion of
Yeah.
fractional connotes to them. I think all this is pretty short-sighted, frankly. I think that fractional leaders are, the ones I know, the people I know that are doing it, they're hands-on operators, not just strategists. So they're, writing content, managing
Yep.
crises, they're coaching executives, they're responsible for outcomes, accountable for results,
Hmm.
not just advice. So I think they bring considerable focus and urgency, maybe because their time is defined, right? I
Hmm.
mean, if you don't have an infinite bag into which to pour the time, you're sort of thinking about like, ooh, what's the most important
Yeah.
way that I can leverage my skill? And I think, they have to, by definition, be able to quickly grasp a company's culture
Yeah.
because they're doing it repeatedly as a fractional leader, right? So I don't forget that their reputations and referrals depend on the
Correct.
client's success,
Yes.
right?
100%.
So the client has to be successful for you to be able to make that kind of a role work.
Who's the best communicator you've ever seen in action and why?
Um, is it cheating if I give an example that has two people,
No.
Jane? Okay.
No.
Okay, good. Well, so this is my tie goes to the runner answer.
Okay.
When I worked at Starbucks, we arranged a meeting before Howard Schultz, CEO of Starbucks and arguably the founder of what we know of as
Yeah.
Starbucks. We were going to see President Obama at Obama's request. And before that, I was like, well, we need to warm you up a little. So we went to go see Mayor Bloomberg, and then we went to go see President Clinton. And so for a variety of different reasons. And so we met President Clinton in an anteroom of the Natural History Museum here in New York, which is weirdly where my wife used to work the first time we lived in New York back in the
That's funny.
90s. And President Clinton was like exactly the Western Civ professor that you think he is.
Yeah.
And he was on some macrobiotic diet. So like there was a table of like celery and carrots. So he's like munching away kind of like for an hour talking about like the longitude of history since World War II leading up to like the point he was trying to make about Obama. And, you know, Howard was kind of holding his own in that regard. Now, I believe Howard is the finest CEO communicator with whom I worked. And certainly President Clinton is in a class of his own when it
Yeah.
comes to communication. So just watching the two of them in the same room at the same time learning from one another was just like extraordinary, Jane. Like I'll never have that opportunity again. It was amazing.
That's awesome. I love that. If you could swap jobs with anyone in the world for a day, who would it be and why?
That's an amazing question. This is going to seem maybe a little out of character, but my son and I went to the first F1, the inaugural Formula One race in Las Vegas.
My heart. Big
It was
fan.
extraordinary. Like really, we were blown away. The track, Las Vegas has just been transformed. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But if I were going to take someone's job, it would be Charles Leclerc's seat in the Ferrari Formula One team just for a day to kind of see
Nice.
what that experience is like. And I will say, Jane, this is cheating because it's the second answer, but like I had this side hustle as a rock journalist for more than
Right.
20
I
years.
remember. Yeah.
And friends of mine who do this for a living, write songs, record songs, perform songs. I'm kind of in awe of their process. I've tried to deconstruct it. I collect original lyrics, like handwritten or typewritten, because I
that's
want
cool.
to see what their process is like. But I've asked a few, like Britt Daniel from Spoon or Matthew Cos from Nada Surf, like, what's it like to have an audience sing your thing back to you?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
love for one night to be Matthew
Yeah.
and stand in front of an audience and watch them sing to you. I think
Yeah.
that would be extraordinary.
I agree with you. Okay, one last question before the question. How do you prepare for high stakes moments behind the scenes for yourself?
For myself. So, I mean, this probably won't surprise you to hear this, but it's prep.
Yeah.
So I'm a coach's kid, you know, and the one thing I had drilled into me from my dad, who was my soccer coach in high school, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine a less cool thing than having your parent be the captain of the team for your parent for 3 years? Like that is
Yeah.
a lot of parental proximity. But his whole thing was put in the reps, you know, which is both practical because it gives you repetition, but it also, my dad's thing was like, you play faster because you're thinking less and
Yeah.
you're reacting more, which I kind of believe in, right? Like you can be more authentic because you've done all the practicing in your head. You've lived
Right.
it already. So
Right.
at Burson, I mean, I'm really lucky. It's like it was at Google. Like we have experts on everything.
Yeah.
So if you're open to learning and you ask for the help, you ask for the input, you ask for the repetition, any high stakes issue of any kind, like, you know, you can adequately prepare. So I believe, Jane, like you play like you practice, which
Yeah.
makes me just sound like my dad, but it is.
I'm sure you could think of worse things. Okay, last question. What would you do with an extra 10 minutes in your day?
Oh, yeah. The 25th hour, the 25th fractional hour. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I split time, Jane, between
Yeah.
New York City and Bend, Oregon, and our place in Bend is an alpaca ranch. So we have like 50 female alpaca on the ranch, and we're really close to nature. Like there's the Deschutes River is literally 5 minutes from us, and there's two trails up and down it. And so if I had 10 minutes a day, I'd put on headphones or earbuds, and I would go outside for a walk or a run of some kind every day. I take my lab with me. Her name is Honeybee. There's no talking, there's no noise, there's no distractions. Like we're just communing with nature. She's a happy dog. I'm a happy human. And whatever's happening weather-wise, like it might be snowing, it might be
Right.
fully sunny, whatever, like it's just happening. So it seems to me like taking care of your mind is as important as taking care of your body, right? So we're all way too scheduled, and I think a little unstructured alone time outdoors, for me
Yep.
anyway, is how I would spend 10, maybe 20, maybe 30 extra minutes a day, for sure.
That's awesome. Perfect. It sounds lovely. I'm there. I'm coming.
Okay, the deal.
All right. Thanks, Corey, for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Jane, this is great. Thank you so much for asking me, and let's keep in touch. Let's do another panel sometime. Maybe
Yeah,
just
sure.
not about social media.
Let's not do social media. I agree.
Okay,
Thanks.
with you.